Right, so that's all our tracks carefully looked at in isolation, and now what we need to do is start to play with some levels. And what I like to do, I don't mess with the levels here. I stick to that old trusted tradition of leaving all the faders at 0, and I cannot for the life of me remember why that is a good idea, but it's something that I always learned from using different DAWs over the years. Always leave your faders at 0 and just adjust within your actual sound itself, the channel. So what I do is add some utilities here to every track, and so that simply means dropping one of these in, and then I can use these to adjust my levels. Everything else can stay the same. The API can stay exactly how the volumes are set up to hitting it in and out at its optimum dBs, and we just use these nifty little utilities. You see here I've also got stereo tool. That's to check any kind of problem information. If the bass is too wide, you can always check that. I don't like my bass kind of veering from, again, you can tell I've been doing this for a long time. I was always told by vinyl engineers, don't pan your heavy sub bass too far left and right, because it will just skip when they go to press it. So if we've done all those, and let's hear how the mix sounds so far. Right, now the first thing I'm going to do is tame some of these buses very subtly, but again, this is all about increasing the energy and the intensity of these tracks. I like to create a wall of sound with these tracks, and it's all about increments. So you'll see I use the tape emulation. That's the first increment of adding something that's not particularly, it's not going to jump right out at you, but it's adding a little bit cumulatively, and then you go in and you subtly change every sound by subtle changes to EQ, compression, so forth. This is the next stage of just adding another layer of intensity, is doing what we did here with the kick and the bass. We go to the drum bus, and I reach for my favorite drum bus compressor, which is the Neve 33609, and with this you only have to hit it gently. So it's I used to have a real one, and I know exactly the sweet spot for this. You'll see here it's actually not bad straight away. Now what this enables me to do is more easily judge that something's too loud initially, and those hats are far too loud. So a shaker's far too loud. So we have no activity here. Let's bring out our clap. Our ride is too loud. But not by much. You see it's not, there we go, it's just tickling the meter a little bit now. That's nice. And now I want to bring in that shaker. Bring in those hats. It just helps me get a better idea once that bus compressor is on, because it smooths out all the sounds, and you can even tell by how the VU meter is working. You can tell obviously if it's catching something that's just poking out a bit too much in the mix. And this is always the setting that I would have it on. It's the automatic release 1 setting, no gain needed. And the ratio the smallest, and you're just tickling the meter here. If anything, I think the clap needs bringing up. There we go. Okay, and now I do the same for the synth bus. And again, I have a real favourite synth bus compressor, Vertigo Sound. This is a real hi-fi, high-quality sounding compressor. It's got the sidechain filter here, which I don't really need to engage because I want it to control any of the bottom end of the synth. So we just lower the threshold until we start seeing the meters gently moving. There we go. We can leave it on a softer ratio actually. Nice. We can speed up the attack actually. And the release set to auto. And then just a little bit of makeup gain as we're reducing it by hardly a dB. There we go. Right, let's take that drone down. You see, once I add those bus compressors, I find it much easier to then judge the levels, both with my ears and of course by looking at the VU meters. That drone is still too loud, and you'll see the drone was the sound that was pushing that vertigo compression into action, so we can afford to calm down on that a little bit harder now. You can see I love the way that is so isolated and sitting right on top of the mix. Right, what I'm going to do now quickly, because I'm going to start adjusting levels on the fly, I need to quickly label these. So I'll do that and I'll come straight back.
If you like this course, why not head over to sonicacademy.com, where we have hundreds of complete track builds in every genre imaginable, including all the project files and samples. You'll also find tutorials on plugins and synths, mixing and mastering, over 250 tech tips, artist interviews, along with our award-winning plugins, samples and preset packs.